Alright, for this one we'll take a look at the frame guide. A couple things to point out, or problems I see pretty often. These two arcs, yes, they are concentric, and typically we do not measure an arc in terms of diameter, and more importantly, we don't typically dimension this in a linear fashion. But this is a tolerance, 3810 to 3797, which we will be dimensioning then as a tolerance in linear format as a diameter, which is not typical. It breaks so many dimensioning rules. But we're not going to buck the system here. Probably the biggest problem is 51. The overall length is 107. Do not snap the center of these two arcs to the midpoint. It is 51 in from the end to the center of these two arcs, which is also the center of this drilled hole. The two 10 millimeter diameter holes are concentric to this radius of 30. By using your fillet tool to round this off, we can then find the concentric center much easier, which will save you a lot of time. You don't have to measure over. If you hover over the arc after using your fillet tool, you can find that center. We do have hidden lines and center lines. We've already changed the formatting for that, the line scale factor. We are showing this right side view to show this slot. You do have to be very careful with these hidden lines and center lines and object lines through this slot, where they continue and where they don't. This is not a direct carryover from the right side view or from the front view either. This 5 millimeter hole, being that you are projecting this top arc, this actually happens down a little bit lower. This actually happens a little bit lower than the top because this is on the curve. Alright, so let's take a look at this one. In millimeters, top, front, and right side views, we have an overall length of 107, a height of 41 over 11, and then down we do come up 11 and across. Again, not on the midpoint. One option is to stretch this to a length of 51. So I want the overall length to be, oops, wrong side. I want this overall length to be 51 to find that center. It is not in the center. So I'm using the diameter tool. 38, the whole number, is right in between or within tolerance, and a radius of 60 would give me a radius of 30 will give me a diameter of 60. This does not even need to continue through, and we will need to trim off these features by drawing the circles. So if I trim, I'm going to trim off the bottom half. I'm also going to trim out this object line. I need to trim this off too. Might as well trim them all at once. Okay. So not terrible just for the basic layout of this front view. Stick with the 40 millimeters in between views. We are at 48 millimeters wide. And 45-degree angle projection line. And set up my top view. Alright, some transfers pretty straightforward. Like that's an object line. This will be an object line. This will be a hidden line. Hidden line. And an object line. So maybe before we go too much further, I'm going to change these to hiddens. Get rid of some of this, clean it up, so I don't get so confused. If I use my fillet tool with a radius of 13 and I round these two corners off, by doing so, when I go to draw the circle, I don't have to measure 51 plus 43 horizontally and then 22 center to center and 13 in. If I hover over this arc, I will find the concentric center, which this is now a diameter of 10 for the drilled hole. So hover over the arc and I will get the center of the arc to create that. This is down the middle, 51 millimeters in. I could project from the quadrant point below. That is a 5 millimeter diameter hole. Projection. So these will be hidden lines. I will also have a center line. These will be hidden lines. Snaps too close to the midpoint or the quadrant point. I'll just trim them off. I guess I need something to trim too. And I will have a center line. So that is just in this front view. Now I got to project them over and around. Hidden line. Hidden line. And another hidden line. So these three here will all be hidden. Now for the holes. Being that these would be symmetrical, I would try to save yourself a little bit of work. And I don't know if this is just an old trick, if I'm nearly that old. But if I draw an X, this sets up where my center line is, so I don't have to go and project it. This here will be a center line. Where these two are hidden for the hole. Oops, didn't mean to delete it. The fact that you need the slot, I would use this center line for two parts. One, to find the center of the slot, and also to mirror this to the other side. So that distance is 25 up from the bottom. That will be the center for the arc. But I can also use that to mirror this other hole. So then this is the center for the slot. 13 diameter. Straight up. We'll take some trimming, round these corners off. You can see where this really becomes an issue in through here until we go and add this. So these are all hidden. Center lines are extended past the edge of the object. and their center lines. I can start by taking this and dragging a copy. But this is going to hit this midpoint. And you can see that these these hidden lines don't hit. They go all the way up through that arc, and they extend down past it. They have to be brought up. Since this is the slot that goes through here, this top section right in between the slot, this is an object line. So whatever combination you have to use to create that hidden solid, because it goes through the slot, and then hidden again. From here I got to round off these corners. Radius of 6. And I should have some casting fillets, since I'm using my fillet tool. All fillets. All in the front view. I do have to project the information for the slot. So this will be a hidden line. This will be a center line. Same thing at the top. These will be object lines in the top view, and this will be the center line. So center, extend it out past the edge of the object, and 2 more hidden lines. All we should have, oops, this one. This one's hidden. This one's a center line. All we should have left now are center marks. We've already added the center extension. We have 3. And that should do it in terms of the drawing. Dimensioning, we will have a tolerance. We will have a note for casting fillets. We'll look at that in the next video.